Greetings, adventurers. This is DM Curt, and it's been a while since I've talked about any of the creatures from Fiend Folio that never quite made it into 5e, but were actually pretty interesting. There's a few of them that were in here that made it all the way through the various editions of D&D, and there's a few that I just haven't seen that I didn't really care for. The Mean Lock, it's been carried forward. The Magnesium Spirit, haven't seen those. Never cared for them. Doesn't matter. But in the M's was the Meazel. This guy. Meazel. Meazel. Here we have a picture. One of them is strangling an adventurer, and two more of them are dragging an adventurer off to, well, probably eat him. So, what makes this creature interesting? Well, first of all, number appearing, 1. And yet in the artwork, there's 3 of them attacking a group of 2 adventurers or more. So, that didn't match. That's one of the first things I saw. But back in the day, I was reading this. Okay, they're yet another size medium humanoid to fill the same niche as goblins and orcs and hobgoblins and gnolls and all those. What makes them different? It was a very crowded group. What makes them different? So let's read this out. Solitary bipeds, just less than man-sized. So you're looking at a size medium, but about 5-ish feet tall. Measles are rarely encountered outside their lairs, either marshes or small dank caverns underground. They have natural thieving abilities of the 4th level of experience and will rarely attack openly, preferring to hide and, moving quietly and swiftly, attempt to strangle stragglers from behind or to pick pockets in search of the gold that they love. Okay, so now we have established that it has a much different tactic used than traditionally used with orcs and goblins and such. This is a solitary stealth ambusher, similar to how bugbears are. So it's just kind of them and bugbears. Okay. All right. The Meazel is a traditional enemy of orcs and kobolds. Why? It does not state why, but it's only a singular column in one book. The UK series of modules used a lot of creatures from Fiend Folio, so maybe one of them might have showed up in there. It wasn't in UK2 or UK3. I know that for a fact. I don't know. When I was in high school, I kind of made up my own lore about this particular creature, in that maybe this species was part of the great goblinoid versus elves and dwarves war, and they got somehow betrayed by their kinfolk, and that's why the Meazel and the orcs and such hate each other so much. Maybe it's just some stuff I made up, Measles rarely venture far from their lairs and take all corpses there to be eaten in safety. Piles of sacks full of bones are often to be found near a Meazel lair. So these ambush predators drag the body back to their lair, eat it, and then they dispose of the bones by putting them in sacks and putting the trash out elsewhere. Sounds to me like they are trying to be stealthy and not have rotting stuff around their lairs. Either there's a cleanliness issue, or there is the idea that smells will attract other predators to their lair. So they're trying to avoid confrontation outside of confrontations that take place on their own terms. Any gems the creature has found in treasure will be in these sacks, since it does not recognize the value of precious and semi-precious stones. For the same reason, there will be no gems in the lair. So these creatures save the gold off of their foes, but get rid of any shiny rocks. That's different. Most creatures of the underworld will attack Meazels, for they have a nasty reputation even among dungeon denizens. Interesting. There's something there. And this is something that could be put into an adventure. You know, if you could have a Meazel or a small group of them and then some other humanoids, you have different things going on in your adventure. And randomly finding a sack full of bones and gems off by itself is something you don't see every day. In combat, they attack with their 2 claws. Claw attack. Okay, D4 hit points each. Okay, cool. Claw. Alternatively, they place a piece of strong, thin cord. They use a piece of strong, thin cord to strangle their victims. So we're using a garrote. Okay. You never really saw that in use amongst most creatures. I mean, an orc will use a rusty sword or an axe or something. These guys will sneak up on you and strangle you in such a way that the rest of the party doesn't hear what's going on. Cool. To hit roll indicates the cord's been blah, 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 blah. Die of a strangulation within 2 melee rounds. So that's fast. A 2-round strangulation. The creature can only execute this kind of attack against a creature that is man-sized or smaller, and only if it can approach the victim from the rear undetected, having surprise. Now, you have a special attack that only works a certain way. By surprise and from behind. It sounds a lot like the backstab ability of first edition, Hayward first edition, Thieves, except it's being executed by a humanoid. So it's a little bit of giving the PCs a taste of their own medicine, because they may have had their party thief sneaking up on and assassinating foes using the backstab. Description. The Meazel has skin which varies from light gray to dark green. Irregular patches of an angry red color will occur on most, 85%, individuals due to skin disease. Neither harmful to the creature beyond its disfiguring effect, nor contagious. Prevalent in the species, these patches giving the Meazel an almost leprous appearance. The eyes are jet black and the feet partially webbed. Okay, nothing in here suggests a swimming speed or the ability to be amphibious. The webbed feet is just a little note. I would give them maybe a little bit of a swim speed. Okay. The description that 85% of them have this kind of red blotchiness, and the term Meazel, as in the disease of giving you little red spots. Okay, that was what was intended there. I don't know. I just found that dude to be kind of interesting. And so, thought I'd share. Anyway, that's the Meazel. Comes out of Fiend Folio. You could adapt it to, or convert it to a different edition, like 5e, for example, or Pathfinder, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, the Meazel. Fiend Folio. DM Curt, out.